What up, everyone? So, back for the rest of my weekly roundup. If you read the description on my last video, you know that my video file got corrupted. I had like an hour and a half long video, and then it got cut short for, I don't even know why. I'm not sure why it happened, which really bothers me because I don't know when that's going to happen again. I only got the first 20 minutes of my video. The rest of it just kind of like the video and audio cut out of the file. So it makes me nervous because I don't know when that's going to happen again. It could be happening right now. This could not be recording right now. So I'm extremely frustrated by it, but you know, it might be a blessing in disguise because I said I'm going to do videos more often. So maybe it was a good thing that it got cut short because I can split up this weekly roundup into multiple weeks and try to actually make it a weekly thing. So maybe that's a good thing. So I only got through the first like 2 or 3 items and I have a lot more to go through. Just again, things I've picked up throughout the week, things that are worth talking about, things that don't merit their own review, their own video, because I only have like 2 or 3 things to say on it, but things that are still worth mentioning. And sometimes just like good sales I find, good companies that I've discovered, things that I just like to share and that I think people would be interested to hear. So, that being said, where we left off, where the video got cut out, was in the middle of my nightmare spiel. So I got a bunch of Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. And the next thing, I just was showing off the pop with Jack and his house and the one with the fountain. Very cool. The next set is going to be, you can't tell what this is. This is the Nightmare Before Christmas Mystery Mini Set. I'll be showing a picture of that because this is just the brown shipper that it came in. So this is the Mystery Mini Set for the 25th anniversary of Nightmare Before Christmas. So, I recently picked this up. This came out this year, 2019. I think earlier in the year. I'm not sure exactly when, so it's not really new, but it's not old either. It's a few months old, so it's pretty recent. Anyway, this is the 3rd series by Funko that they've made mystery minis of before Nightmare Before Christmas, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, because I don't think there's any other franchise out there that has 3 separate sets of mystery minis for one franchise. I don't think there is one that exists. So it has pretty much the same characters for all 3 of the sets. And each time they do one, they get better and better. Because I got the first set, and then the second set came out and it looked a little bit better, so I bought those. And then this one came out and it looked a little bit better, so I bought those. And the funny thing is, this is the 4th set that Jack Skellington's been in, because it has the 3 sets from this, and Jack Skellington was also in the very first set of mystery minis, which wasn't Nightmare Before Christmas. It was from Disney. It was just a random Disney set, and as far as I know, that was the very first set of mystery minis that was ever created. And that had Jack Skellington. I think it had like Tinkerbell, Pooh, and Maleficent, a few random ones. So there's been a ton of Jack Skellington ones. Keep getting pieces of lime from my drink. The reason I wanted to bring this one up is because, one, I really do think they're getting better each time they put out a set. I think they are improving each time they do it. And I really can't get enough Nightmare Before Christmas. I love Nightmare Before Christmas. It's probably my favorite Disney movie. I love stop motion. I love everything about it, so it's really great. And this set was particularly good because they just genuinely did a good job on these figures. They've done better and better each time, and you can see the progression of the original series to the 2nd series to the 3rd, and they just get a little bit better on the designs each time. The only complaint I have about this is all the figures look good except for Jack and Sally, the 2 main characters of it. And look. And the funny thing about it is that they really could have done better on the Jack design. Jack's the one character who's never looked very good in a mystery mini style. And the reason for that is his character design. He's very, very long and very slender. And that doesn't really work so well when you shrink him down to a mystery mini. It just doesn't really translate because the things that make him that character, his character attributes, kind of get lost when you shrink him down and scrunch him up. So he's never really looked that great, and this set is no exception. All the other characters look great, and here's what I thought they should have done, and I'm surprised they didn't. So with the other characters, you can't tell by the picture, but their faces are actually sculpted. With most of the other sets and most mystery minis in general, they usually have a sticker face. And what I mean is that it's just a flat surface, and they have little stick-on faces or paint-on faces where it shows the eyes and the mouth. That's pretty common. It's not the best thing ever, but, you know, it makes sense. It's practical because it's cost efficient, and it usually looks fine. Sorry. it usually looks just fine, so it's not that big of a deal. But this series actually went through the trouble to sculpt the faces. So the eye sockets actually have some indentation to them. The mouths are actually carved into the face. So they actually went through the trouble to sculpt the faces and actually make them indented and embeveled and things like that, which really gives it a nice touch to the set. But ironically so, the only characters that don't have that were Jack and Sally. Jack specifically is one character that they should have done it with. All the other characters, they could have gotten away with it just fine by putting a stick-on face, and it really wouldn't have made much of a difference. But Jack's face, he's a skeleton. His eyes are very sunk in, and his mouth is very hollow. So I don't know why they didn't do that with the character it would have mattered most. It's one thing if they didn't want to spend the money, if it wasn't cost-effective to put the stick-on faces, then fine. We'll deal with that. But the fact that they did go through the trouble with all the other characters except for the main character, I think was very odd. It would have been very simple to carve out some eye sockets and to carve out the mouth and color the insides black. It would have really given it that depth, and it would have really given the character depth, and it would have looked really nice. And I'm just shocked that they didn't do that. I really don't have an explanation for it, and I think they should have. I think if they do a fourth one for some random reason, that's what they should do. They show they have the skill, and they show they're willing to take the time to sculpt the individual facial features on the other characters, so why not on the main characters? So that's really the only complaint I had. And it's not that they look bad or anything. Jack and Sally look just fine. They don't look bad in any way, but I just find it weird that they could have looked better, that they had the option and they just didn't do it. That's just weird to me. So other than that, this overall series is very nice. I think it's the best one yet. I think the characters look the best yet. The overall design, quality, paint job, everything on them is the best yet. So I think it's definitely worth checking out. And the series is still somewhat affordable because it's practically new, but the price is steadily going up. I've noticed that. So if this is something you're interested in, I would say jump on it now. Especially from the holiday season, the prices on franchises like this are always going to go up. And I've been watching it because I got the Walgreens exclusive version, and there are a few other characters that weren't included in this, so I've been looking on eBay and keeping track of them, and the prices have been going up even in the 1 month that I've been watching them. So I think the prices are going to keep going up on these steadily over time, so it's something that you should jump on if you get the chance. The good news about it is they're all 1 of 12, unlike some of the original series, so if you get a full case, you should get pretty much all the characters with the exception of the exclusive variants. So that's the good news on that. So if you are interested in this set, jump on it now while you can. Next, I have a lot of pop figures I picked up. And I haven't been buying pop figures for a while. Yeah, one, I wasn't a huge fan of them for the longest time, but they're finally getting to the point where they have some good design quality. And I don't know if Funko was just holding back or not, but they've finally been showing some good quality in showing dioramas and things like that. Like the Nightmare Before Christmas ones I showed, where they come with like a house, or it's a scene, or different poses. For the longest time, they were all exactly the same, in the exact same pose and style, and it was just so boring. So they're finally getting to the point where they have some really good design quality to them. And I've been going back and collecting some franchises that I haven't gotten the chance to, and some things I'd like to talk about. First one I got, Pillsbury Doughboy. So I really liked the Mystery Minis Ad Icon series. I think they did a great job. I really enjoyed that series, and I do think they're going to do a Series 2. That's not confirmed or anything, this is just a hunch of mine, but I do genuinely think they will. And this is why. Because that first set was pretty small. As far as Mystery Minis go, it was a small set, there wasn't a lot of characters, and there were no exclusives whatsoever, so that made the series even smaller. And you see pop figures like this, and also like Chester Cheeto, and Toucan Sam, and things like that, that they've made pop figures of, so you know they have the rights to, but they didn't put in the Mystery Minis Ad Icon series. And I think that's because they're trying to make a Series 2. They had too many for one full series, and so they decided to split it into two. That's my assumption, and I hope that's true because I'd love to see them. Because they obviously have the rights to characters like this, and I'd love to see them in a Mystery Mini series. I think that'd be really cool. So that's me being hopeful for that, and I think that will happen, but we'll see. We probably won't see it for like a year or so because they take a really long time to make them. So about this figure specifically. So there are a lot of figures they've made, Funko pop figures they've made, that are just very generic and very common. But I really like these ad icons. I always have. I bought a lot of them in the past. But the thing I've been doing lately is, you know, I have limited space. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I do. So I try not to buy overly common pop figures because it just takes up too much space. There are so many characters I like. I'd like to buy a figure for every single one, but it's just not plausible. So whenever they do ones that are really common that I like, I wait for them to do an exclusive alternate, and they almost always do if it's a popular character. Pillsbury Doughboy, for example. I've always liked that character. I thought he's really cool, and I've just always been a fan. And they came out with the original, but I didn't want to buy the original one, and then they had this exclusive alternate, and he's pretty much the same. He's just holding a Shamrock cookie, and I think this was I think it was an Emerald City Comic Con exclusive. I think that's where it's from. So I just waited for the exclusive to come out and got that one, because if I'm going to buy one, and if it's just a common character, I'm always going to get the exclusive version of them, just because, you know, I don't collect for money's sake. I don't collect things because they're valuable. I collect things because I like them. But if I have the option of a character where one's common and one's not, I'm always going to go with the one that's worth a little bit more. Because, you know, heaven forbid that I ever do have to sell anything. If I do, I'd like to know that it is increasing in value, that it is like something I could sell for money and flip around and put that money into something else. So it's just a comforting thought. It's just good to know that I could sell that. So I try to always go with the exclusive versions of things, just for the sake of them having more potential to increase in value over time. And that's the same situation with a lot of these ad icon ones. Like I said, Chester Cheeto and things like that. I like those and I want those characters, but I'm waiting for them to put out exclusive versions, and I'm pretty sure they will. I think those characters are popular enough where they will do an alternate version of each one. So I'm trying to be more picky recently, not just buy every character because I like them. I want to have like an actual reason for it, because again, I just run out of space eventually, and I'm constantly having to clear out certain ones to make room for new ones. So I like to hone down my collection to be things that I really, really like and things that do have some value versus just anything I like. So that's what I want to talk about for that one. And that's my advice to anyone. If you're trying to buy overly common figures, there's almost always going to be an exclusive, more rare version that's going to come out at a later date. So it might be a good idea to just wait for that version of the character you like, just so if you do have to sell it, again, you probably don't want to, but if you do, it's just good to know that you don't have to, might have to throw it out one day and it ends up in a landfill. So, alright. The next pop figures I got were from the Batman 80th anniversary. They have a whole, I don't know if I'd call it series, but a whole theme they're doing for the 80th anniversary of Batman. And what I really liked about these is they actually changed the box color from the pop figures. As you'll notice that pretty much all the figures from since they came out have this white trim to it. And they finally changed it, and they've been doing it for the Batman 80th and the Marvel 80th. And I think that's really cool, and it just makes me realize, like, why have they never done that before? Why have they stuck to this very, very simplistic design and kept it the same for 10 years? And it's things like that that I'm constantly reminded of by Funko, where it's like, why haven't you? Why haven't you put more design quality into so many things for so many years? It's like they're trying to do the bare minimum, and they only want to do more when they're absolutely forced to. But I really like this. They have this like black finish with this gold, shiny metallic gold for the lettering, and I think it looks really cool. It definitely caught my eye, and I just think they should do that more. They should really change up the colors every once in a while to set things apart and set them aside. But anyway, I got one that was exclusive, this metallic Batman one. I think this is from Comic-Con. And then another one which wasn't exclusive. I just really liked the design of it. This Red Rain Batman. He just looks really badass. This one's not exclusive. I don't think there was an exclusive version of it. So sometimes there isn't a variant of it that's more valuable. So sometimes it just looks like a really cool character, and this one didn't. It didn't cost much at all, so I picked it up, and I thought it was really cool. I really like the design of it, and I love the finish on these boxes. I think it's really well done, and they should really explore doing some more colors and things like that for more characters. Like, why not? Alright, next, something I'd like to talk about. I got some Yu-Gi-Oh ones. And I'm actually a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! I always have been. But of the original series, that first season. I think it's the same for Pokemon for most people. They only like those original 150, and most people don't even know characters from like the second, third, fourth, fifth, seventh generation of characters. So I really like all the original ones from the first season, including like Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, Yugi, all those characters. I really like them. So this, what is it, Dark Magician, Hot Topic exclusive. So that one's cool. I like that. This one I'd like to talk about. So this is the Blue Eyes White Dragon, but you'll see from the sticker it has a box lunch exclusive sticker. Now it took me a while to figure out why, and now I'd like to share that information with you in case anyone was curious about it. So if anyone is a fan and they picked up these figures, you'll notice your Blue Eyes probably doesn't have an exclusive sticker, and you might wonder why. This one came with the t-shirt combo. You'll notice a lot of pop figures now are coming, part of the t-shirts now usually aren't sold by themselves. Now they come with a figure included, which I think is good. I think it's a nice little combo. They're more expensive. It's like 30 instead of 20, but a lot more of they're doing that a lot more. So I saw this one, and I actually like the t-shirt. Now, I usually don't buy the pop tees, but I like that one specifically because my favorite character from the original series was the Blue Eyes Toon Dragon. He was always my favorite, and I liked Pegasus. I thought he was a cool character. And the t-shirt version of this and the pop version of Blue Eyes kind of looks like the Blue Eyes Toon Dragon. So I really like the t-shirt for that reason, and I actually wore it in a previous video, like 2 or 3 videos ago. And so I liked the shirt enough, and I was curious why it was exclusive, so I made the purchase. And it doesn't matter if there was a difference between the regular and the one with the sticker. Just the fact that it has the sticker will make it more valuable, which I know sounds stupid, but it's true. Just the fact that it says it's exclusive, even if there's literally no difference from it, it does make it more valuable. Now, I had to really look at the two and do some in-depth research, and I realized what the difference was, and it's very, very subtle, and you probably wouldn't notice, but basically, the regular version that's not exclusive of Blue Eyes has a blue tint to it. And you can kind of see the difference in the picture, because I'm pretty sure they used the same picture, has a bluish tint. So it's still gray, but it has a blue tint to it. And the exclusive version does not have a blue tint, so it's just silver looking. And if you did watch the original cartoon, it was shown in all different ways. Like the Blue Eyes White Dragon was shown in a bluish color, and sometimes it was shown in a whitish color. It just kind of depended on what episode you were watching and what light it was in. It kind of looked different in various episodes, so I think that's why. So slightly blue, not blue. And that's the only difference I could really see. As far as everything else I could tell, it's exactly the same figure, it's just a slightly different tint. Which it seems like weird to do an exclusive version for just a mildly different color, but you know, whatever. Again, same concept. If there's two figures that look pretty much the same of a character I like, why not go with the one that's worth a little bit more? And you know, at the end of the day, they both might end up being worth the same thing. But why not go with the option that has the potential to gain more value over time? Because when you're collecting figures, everyone knows if you have one that's totally basic and one that's somewhat rare exclusive, the rare exclusive one's going to eventually increase in value, as they both will, but the exclusive one will increase at a higher rate and a more escalated rate than the regular one would. So I'm glad I got this one. The t-shirt's cool, I still like it. I'm glad I got an exclusive version. Because I do like the character, but like I said, there's a pop figure for pretty much every character in existence, and if I bought one for every character, I just wouldn't have enough room. So I like to be, like I said, a little more picky and choosy, so I'll wait for exclusive versions of characters and go with those ones. And like I said, I'm a really big fan of this series. I loved Blue Eyes. I loved Dark Magician. I hope they do more of them, because there's more characters I'd like to see, like Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, or like Summon Skull. I thought he was really cool. And I like the characters Yugi and Kaiba and stuff like that. So I hope they continue with that series, because I'm still such a fan of it, so I hope to see more of them in the future. Alright, the next two we're looking at, same situation. I got Goose from Captain Marvel. Now, I wasn't really a big fan of the Captain Marvel movie, but there were things I liked about it. It wasn't bad by any means, don't get me wrong, but my favorite part about it was Goose. I really liked the character. I thought he was funny. He was like the comic relief of the movie, so I really liked it. So I picked these ones up, and same situation. there was a normal version of Goose. Normal version. But I got the one that looks the same and slightly different. Again, box lunch exclusive, and he's just flocked. And that's the case for a lot of them. There will be a regular version and an exclusive version that's probably not worth much more, if not exactly the same. That's just like flocked, or like the blue eyes, just a mildly different color. So if you like the character, why not go with the more exclusive version? And then I got the Flurkin version of Goose right here. And he's just glow in the dark. He's not exclusive in any way, but I just thought it was a good pair to go with them. And the Flurkin version is actually worth a decent amount. I guess just because it's glow in the dark. I don't think it's from exclusive to anywhere, but it was more expensive, so maybe it's just the more popular version of the character. But this was harder to find, and it was pretty decently more expensive. So I got the pair of them because I really like the character, and I think that's pretty cool and significant. So there we go. So exclusive versions of that. Alright, what do we got next? We got some Dragon Ball pop figures. Now, Dragon Ball ones, I was actually collecting every figure of them because when they first came out with the series, they only came out with those original 6, and there wasn't any Dragon Ball pops for a long time. They like sporadically released like 1 or 2 here that were exclusive, and there wasn't that many, so I thought I'd collect them all. Now there is a plethora of them. It seems like every month there's like 10 or 12 new ones, so there's no way to keep up with them all. So same situation, gotta be a little more choosy about them and stick to some of the exclusives. So here's some that I thought were pretty special and that I liked. So we got the Ghost version of Gotenks, and he was I'm pretty sure he was Comic-Con exclusive. That's what it seems like. But I like this. So I like figures that aren't the regular anthropomorphic figure. Meaning, they don't look human-like. They don't have 2 arms, 2 legs, and they're not that generic, like, standing pose. I like ones that don't have a body, that have, like, a little bit of a weird shape to them. Same with Mystery Minis. I like the ones that have a weird shape to them that aren't just, like, regular-looking people. So that's why I like this one. And I like that character, and I thought this one was kind of special. And it was exclusive, so I picked that one up. Next, we got Dead Yamcha. So this one I thought was so funny. Like, Yamcha's not even like one of the most popular characters, but it's just so funny that they picked this version of him. I know there are a lot of online memes about Dead Yamcha for like various jokes and stuff like that, and I think it's so funny that they went to the trouble to make a pop figure of this very specific version of the character, because this was like 1 episode and it was for like a minute and a half that he died and they showed that picture of him. So I just thought it was so funny that they went through the trouble to make a pop of Dead Yamcha, and so many characters die all the time. It's just, but they picked this one specific one. I don't know, I thought that was a really funny thing to do, and it's almost like intentionally comical that they did it that way. And this was a 2018 Comic-Con exclusive. Wasn't too hard to find. It's not worth a ton, but I thought it was fun. And it's a little bit different because it goes with the little sideways thing versus the upright. So I thought that was kind of interesting too and worth some attention, so I got that one as well. Next, we got a Comic-Con version of Vegeta. He's just a chrome version. Nothing super special about him, but Vegeta's always been my favorite character. He's my favorite Dragon Ball character, so I thought I'd pick up a version of him that was exclusive. Now here's one that isn't exclusive, but I do like, and this is King Kai and Bubbles. Now the original Yamcha I got as well for the same reason, because I like things that are different. I like, because there's so many generic looking pop figures, there has to be something special about it for me to get it. So whether it's exclusive or a character I like, but this is neither, but it was special because I like the ones that come with an additional figure. Now the original one to do this was Ant-Man with Marvel Collector Corps like years ago. That came with a little small version of Ant-Man in there. So I like the ones that come with 2 figures where it's like 1 big and 1 small. I think that's cool. It kind of makes it special and it kind of stands out from the rest of the bunch, so I've always liked that. So this one, King Kai and Bubbles, and then Yamcha came with a little Puar. So I thought that was cool. So I picked those ones up. Again, probably not going to be worth anything, but I like the series, I like the characters, and I thought it was special that it came with 2 characters, 2 figures in there. So that's why I picked that one up. Alright, and next on the pop figures, these ones I'd like to talk about a little bit. Now these are Disney Park exclusive pop figures. So we got two here. We got Rocket from Mission Breakout, and we got the Haunted Mansion Madame Leota. So things I'd like to talk about here. These are really cool, and these are pretty hard to, not really hard to come by because they make plenty of them, but these are exclusive to Disneyland parks. Now I am in the fortunate position to live pretty close to the original Disneyland in Anaheim, California. I'm about an hour away. I have a season pass or yearly pass. I go like once a week. So I go there frequently. So when I see stuff that are park exclusive, I jump on them because that's the only place they sell them. Now, the funny thing about these is this one was going for a really high price online. I was looking for this one for a long time for many reasons. I love the Haunted Mansion, and again, it's different in the fact that it's not a standard body. It's just a floating head on a table. So I thought that was interesting, and interesting enough to catch my attention. And I liked the original version. And then I saw they were doing an exclusive version in the park, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go for that one. Why not? This was really hard to find because it was really popular when it came out, and it was going for ridiculous amounts online. And even me going to the parks, even I couldn't find it in the parks. I had to find it off-site, just outside of Disneyland, at a random shop there, and they only had like one or two left, so it was hard to come by. But since I bought this one, I noticed I've been finding them more and more. So here's the thing you need to know about figures like this. There is no limited run on them. So the Disney Park exclusives, same with like GameStop exclusives. It always seems rare at first and they're going for high value. So you think it's going to be worth something, you pay that high price, and you see it immediately drop off. And the reason for that is there's no limited run. So if something sells well, they're just going to restock the shelves. Even though it's exclusive to that park, it doesn't mean it's going to be worth anything. So you got to be careful with the exclusive stickers and thinking that creates value. Because like I said with some of these other ones, they may cost the same as the normal version, and that's because they produce so many of them. Now, they're usually pretty good about it in the sense that if something doesn't sell well, they're not going to make more. And that's what will make it worth value later on because they did a limited run because it wasn't popular. The ones that are popular, ironically, are not going to be worth a lot because people are going to buy them, they're going to restock the shelves. People are going to buy them, they're going to restock the shelves. And the more times they do that, the more of this they put out and the lower the value gets. So it's just simple math right there. So this one was worth a lot because it was popular, so it's sold out. So people are in this panic because they want that figure, so they go online and they pay those crazy amounts for the figure, not realizing it's just going to come back into the shop and the prices are going to drop significantly. And it has. That's exactly what happened. Now these both are still worth a decent amount, but here's what you also need to know. These park exclusives in the stores cost $20, which I was surprised by, but because normal pop figures only cost $10. Even when you go to Comic-Con, they raise the prices because they're assholes. Even those ones only cost $15. But in the Disneyland parks, these versions cost $20 a piece. So when you see them online for $20, you may think you're paying a jacked up price, but you're actually paying regular price at $20. Now, these park exclusives are always going to go for a little more online because they're hard to come by. You have to live in either California or Florida to pick one of these up and pick one up yourself. You're not going to find them in comic shops unless people are reselling them there. So they're always going to go for a little bit more, but not much more. The prices are going to come down, and these cost originally $20, and they're still going to land somewhere between $20 and $30, even at their lowest probably, because it's just hard to come by to a certain extent. But they're still going to keep producing them, and they keep them in the parks for a long time. The ones I've seen that are exclusive are there for a very long time, and they almost never run out, and except for the very first time they put them out, they put out some samples to see how well they'll sell, and after that they just keep stocking the shelves and keep stocking the shelves. So my advice to you is, if you do see these park exclusives, don't pay crazy prices, just wait it out because the prices will come down. The lowest it's probably going to go is between $20 and $30, somewhere in there, but again, no, that's the lowest it will go, and that's probably the best time to buy it because I doubt it'll go lower than that because they cost $20 in the store. So things you needed to know that I'm guessing a lot of people don't know, because I often forget that most people don't live near Disneyland Park. I've lived by one my whole life, so sometimes I forget that people don't get to see that stuff. So I thought that was information you'd like to know in case you do see some park exclusives that you would like to get in the future. Now, normally there wouldn't be that many, but since they're opening that Marvel Land in California Adventure sometime in the next year, there's probably going to be a ton of Marvel Pop exclusives. And that's my favorite Marvel stuff, so I thought I'd let you know in case you do see something in the coming days to be aware of that. Alrighty, so last set of regular size Pops I got just some Pooh ones. Winnie the Pooh. Because I'm a big Pooh fan, and if you haven't noticed my tattoos, I've been getting a lot of Pooh tattoos lately. And because that was the first book my mom ever read to me as a kid, it's always been my favorite, so there's a lot of nostalgia there. So I've went back and collected some because I realized I didn't have any. But again, collected the alternate version. So we had an Eeyore. I got a Barnes & Noble one that I think is just, yeah, it's just a flocked version of Eeyore. Pretty much the same value as the regular one, but a little bit exclusive. And then a Winnie the Pooh from the Christopher Robin movie. Same thing. They had a regular one, flocked box lunch exclusive. So I keep noticing that the store Box Lunch has some really good options, because every time I see something online that I like, that I hadn't heard of, every time I look, it's almost always a Box Lunch exclusive. So I really gotta go to one of those stores, but there's none around me. There's none that are like within 50 miles of me, so I gotta travel, but you know, it's worth checking out. If you have one of those by you, definitely check out one of those stores. So nothing too amazing there. Last of the Pop figures, some I'd like to talk about are these oversized Pop ones. These 10-inch ones. So I picked up a few of these recently. I picked up 2 Mickeys, regular black and white version, and some Pokemon ones. They had Charmander and Squirtle, and they just recently came out with Eevee. And then I also got Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon and Hedwig. Now, I know these bigger ones aren't that popular, but I actually really like them. And I guess the reason is I like the size of them. Because I've said for so many years, Pop figures are kind of a weird size. I like Mystery Minis because they're small, and I like statues because they're big. And Pop figures are always kind of that in-between where it's like, you want them to be small, but you want them to be detailed, and it's kind of like that awkward in-between. So I like the bigger ones because it reminds me more of a statue. But, I guess the ironic thing is you can't collect too many of them because they take up a ton of space. So I've been kind of selective, and these are the reasons why I got the Pokemon ones, because I thought they were cool in the sense that they're actual size. If Pokemon were real, those are the sizes Charmander and Squirtle would be. So they're actual like life-size versions of them, which I thought was cool and interesting. And then I got the Mickey ones because I'm a big Disney fan, and I'm always a fan of original Mickey. And one thing you've got to know about Disney stuff is it almost always increases in value. It's crazy. It's just like this phenomenon. There's just so much aura and stuff to Disney, it just almost always increases in value. Even this version, this Target exclusive version, they both were actually. I got the original one in store, and I was looking at this one online, and even the 1 month I was looking at prices, it skyrocketed. Even in that short amount of time. And it's not even that rare. It's just, that's how it works. When you get original Disney characters, they just go up in price so much. The reason why I didn't buy this online right at first is the reason I want to talk about them. And that is, these are very hard to come by in good condition. Because Pop figures in general are just very delicate. They're very thin cardboard, and you know anytime you buy a figure on there, you really got to look at the pictures. Because so many times you take all this time to research and find one that's in good condition that's also worth the money, and even still when you get it, sometimes there's just little nicks and stuff that you couldn't quite make out in the pictures because the quality wasn't good enough in the picture, and you have a damaged figure. Or even if you do find a seller that's selling it in perfect condition, they might ship it to you, and the postal service might damage it, and in that case, it's like no one's fault really, and everyone kind of gets screwed there. So I'm so hesitant to ever buy them online for that reason specifically. Even more so for these oversized ones, because they're even more delicate. The cardboard's even softer on these, and since it's such a big surface area, if you put pressure on any point in here, even if it's packaged well and put bubble wrap around it, if it's underneath some other package and some pressure is put down on there, it'll very easily crease. you'll notice if you've ever tried to buy one of these online and you've shopped around, it's almost impossible to find one in mint condition. There's always some very minor dents and indentations and stuff like that, because even when they arrive in the store, it's just so easy for these to get damaged. So even when I bought them in the store, even then it's hard to find one in perfect condition. So same reasons, even if I find a seller that doesn't want a crazy amount of money and does have it in good condition, even if they package it well, something could happen along the way, and it's like, oh, that just sucks, because it's not worth the money to send it back, and like, it's just a huge hassle. So was very hesitant to try to buy this one online, but I found one that's in, for the most part, decent condition. So I thought it was worth the money, because it was, like I said, the price was raising so significantly that I didn't want to wait on it anymore. So I had to kind of pull the trigger while I still could, because this one's going to keep jumping in price, this black and white version of it, I guarantee you. The regular Mickey one might go up in value a little bit because it's Target exclusive, but the black and white one absolutely will. The Pokemon ones, probably not. I don't think those will go up in value very much. I just liked them, and the same with some of the other ones I picked up. So some advice I wanted to give when you're buying these 10-inch pod ones: always try to buy them in store, because it's just way too risky to buy them online. Obviously, if you have to, if you have no choice, sure, but you're just accepting the risk of getting them damaged, because it's, again, just so difficult. So I have a few more things here, but I think I'm going to stop the video there before my computer screws up again and ruins my video one more time. And also just because I think I should save some more stuff and try to spread this out a little bit. I have some consistent things coming in, but like I said, maybe it was a blessing that my video got ruined, so that way I can spread things out a little more evenly and make shorter videos more often to try to be a little more consistent about the channel. And if this is going well, I'm going to add more videos to it. Like I said, we'll do some like regular pop culture stuff and maybe some video gaming stuff. And I also want to talk about some future things, collectibles that are coming out. So not only things that I've collected, but maybe things to look forward to. And again, most of the time, I'm just here to give advice. I'm here to be helpful, give my 2 cents on how you should collect, where you should buy them, how much you should pay, what things will be worth more, what things probably won't be, and just try to help out any way I can, because that's always been the point of the channel. But other than that, it's just to get some discussion going, just to hear what you guys think about some of the things that I show on here. Hear your 2 cents on it, kind of start a conversation, go back and forth, and be entertaining in that sense as well. So other than that, hopefully a week from now you'll see another weekly roundup, and this will be a regular thing, and I'll try to fit in other videos as well. So I hope you enjoyed. I'd love to hear what you guys think about any of these figures. Any advice you have to give, feel free to share that in the comments. Until then, see you on the next weekly roundup. Thank you all for watching and supporting. Love you all. Peace.